time to talk about Facebook, which is pretty much the granddaddy of them all when it comes to social media, social networking sites. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the one that brings you the most traffic. It depends on your industry, depends on your business, depends how you use it. But bottom line, you need a Facebook account. You need to be using it because it works. When I evaluate marketing strategies and techniques, I just look at the data. I look at the results. Is it bringing traffic, and is the traffic converting and making money? And does it overshadow or outweigh the time it would take to actually make use of it? And in my scientific evidence and experience and evaluation, the answer is yes, by far. And I've also gotten the same thing from other people that are using it as well. Now, it could change over time, and it may get too kind of spammy and bloated and some other things, and it may stop working as well. I doubt it. I think they're going to keep a pretty good handle on the importance of the site and how it works, and keep a lot of things intact, which make it a really good site. And, of course, gives it those advantages over MySpace and why it's exploded and gotten so popular. Facebook itself has hundreds of features and settings, and there's all kinds of stuff to Facebook itself. A tutorial on how to use Facebook would take hours upon hours upon hours. And so that's going to go beyond the scope of this course, and I'm not going to show you every little bell and whistle of what Facebook does. You can come to Facebook yourself. They have some tutorial information or some good help information. You can use that to learn how to use Facebook itself and all the different features and functionality. But I'm going to focus on, and you need to do that anyways to familiarize yourself with it if you're not already, but I'm going to focus on the marketing tactics and unique strategies that you can use right now today with Facebook to help generate traffic to your sites or your blog or to your content. That's really going to be our main focus, to build relationships with people, to find JV partners or to find affiliates for your affiliate program or new programs that you could become an affiliate of, other bloggers to share content with, share links with, to build your brand. I mean, that's important. A lot of people like to ignore branding when it comes to internet marketing because it's primarily a direct marketing medium where it's all about just like placing an ad or doing something to promote something and then tracking what the results were and then how much money that created, which is essentially the nature of direct marketing. And because the internet is so designed and formulated to just be so great for direct marketing, so many people miss some other elements of just traditional business and marketing. And branding is very, very important. I used to not believe this until I actually saw it working and saw it for myself, how valuable it was, and then I really got it. And so by networking on sites like Facebook and getting your name out there and really branding yourself as an expert, and as well as your company and your company name, you just build equity in it, and it can really make it just so much easier for you to sell to people. Even if someone has never done business with you or even visited your site, if they see you and others have ever mentioned you or talked about you, or they saw you talked about on another site or another blog post or what have you, or on Twitter or anywhere, people are going to be almost preconditioned to put more value in you and whatever it is you have to say, and then ultimately whatever it is that you have to sell. So branding is very powerful. Facebook does a great job of that. Again, I talked about the importance, the absolute importance of not pitching and advertising and just directly just trying to sell stuff through Facebook and these other sites, but it's particularly important and accurate about Facebook because it's not a medium that is kind of set up well for advertising. And if you do that, well, one, if you take activities like posting ads and links in different places of Facebook and, just trying to ask anybody and everybody to be your friend and doing some kind of aggressive marketing types of things, Facebook will ban you. So Facebook doesn't allow that stuff. So you got to tread carefully, but there are a lot of ways I'm going to teach you that you can use it to generate traffic and ultimately to get money from using Facebook. So what you're looking at here, this view, is what's called the profile view. There's two main views that you're going to be concerned with, and I'm going to explain this to you. This is the profile view. If anyone wants to come and check out John Reese's profile on Facebook at any time, this is the view they see. This is my profile. So you can see it has a picture of myself, and when I'm posting on other sites, or other profiles, I should say, within Facebook, or doing little things where it shows anything to do with me, that's when it can show my photo, like as someone's friend. Like you're seeing these people, some people, the question marks haven't uploaded photos yet, but these people, obviously, that's their little avatar that represents them. And so that's mine is this, but it will be smaller, obviously, when someone sees it like in that friend view. So at the top, you can see my name, and it has a status of what I'm currently up to, or the last time I updated my status. And then it says, of course, some information about me, where I'm located, my gender, relationship status, what I'm looking for with the site. And you can, there's more things you can list here, or you can do less. You can list none of this if you want. It's up to you. A lot of options and a lot of flexibility on Facebook for the amount of information you share, as well as what you don't want to share, how you want to control your friends, how you want to group them for security. A lot to Facebook, so you'll need to kind of familiarize yourself with it. But then this is called the mini feed here. This kind of keeps up with any actions that I take in the Facebook world. So if I update my blog and pull in a blog post, it's going to show here, like right here. John recently updated his blog. If I add someone as a new friend, John and Kim Castle are now friends. Like it shows it. It shows all my activity and what I'm up to. I wrote a new note. It shows it, links to it, and talks about it. So this little mini feed just kind of shows what I've been up to with my account. So if you go to anyone's profile, you can see kind of this little stream of what they've been up to. You can click to see all, and you can see even more farther back than what this currently shows. So that's what you see there. Over here's links to photos of me. It's either photos I've uploaded or photos that other people have uploaded and tagged with my name. That's very important, tagging things on Facebook with other users' names. I'm going to get back to that. This says view my friends. This shows the number of friends that I have. Others can look at my whole friends list. You'll notice it says 5,000. It's a big but nice even number. The reason why that is Facebook currently at the time of this recording has a limit of 5,000 friends. You can't have more than 5,000 friends on your account, unfortunately. I'm waiting for them to up the limit so I can, of course, add more of my customers. I imagine I could get that up to probably 100,000 friends over time, but I can't, so I'm stuck on 5,000, and so I just have to deal with it. Every now and then, somebody may kill their Facebook account or unattach themselves to me, and so it frees up a spot, and then I can go in, and I'll show you in a minute how I have a queue of people waiting for me to add them, and then I can add them as friends. But for now, they just have to wait. And unfortunately, it's the way it's set up. It's kind of rude, because I can't easily communicate with all those people that are waiting without sending individual messages one at a time, and that's kind of a pain in the neck, so I don't do it. So for all they know, I don't like them, and I'm not accepting their request to be my friend, which, again, kind of stinks. But I think some of them realize that I've hit that limit because I've announced it to my list, and they know. Here's my friends area again. It'll show some photos randomly of different friends, and then you can click to see it all. Here's Twitter. Now, I lied to you just a second ago when I made that post replying to that lady when I said, hey, I'm currently recording traffic secrets footage. It's live. Now you're famous. Remember I said that's going to show in Facebook. Unfortunately, right now, Twitter's having a few issues, and the little plug-in application here for Twitter, it's not updating right now. There's some kind of problem going on with it connecting to the servers. Imagine later on today or tomorrow it'll start updating again. But typically it updates relatively quickly from the time you post to Twitter to the time it'll show here. So if anyone comes to this profile, they can see my latest Twitter post. And this is the one I made right before I replied to that lady. So it says, up early to prepare for a long day in the studio, and shows the time and the date that I posted it, which was earlier today. And so you can see it syndicates my Twitter activity also here on Facebook. And there are scripts and things out there, and we'll link to them in the resources section, where you can actually add this Twitter box to any web page you have in the world that you control. So anytime you post to Twitter, it shows up in a box right there on that page. So a lot of people put it on their blog, a lot of people put it on their other sites. So how awesome is that? You post anything to Twitter about what you're doing or a link or anything else, what you're reading, and that gets updated on many different points, however many you set up, all over the internet. So that's pretty awesome, just to have that syndication power like I've been talking about, which, of course, you can do the same for your blog. So you can have your blog posts syndicated in many, many different places. So it's just the more you get your stuff out there, the more people can stumble upon it, find it, like it, and then hopefully share it with others, link to it, submit it to different sites, and then it just grows like a snowball. When you put out a lot of good content, man, it just goes everywhere on the internet, and that's what I'm trying to get you to do. That's what the methodology behind this course is all about, to get you doing that. Become that content factory, be pumping out great stuff, and you're just going to, dominate your niche online. You can't help but do that because that's what's going to drive the traffic is content, regardless of what you sell. So it's cool. You can add this Twitter plugin. It can automatically show whenever you make a Twitter post. There's a setting in the notes function of Facebook. Notes are just, you can make a note about anything, and your profile will update with it that you've made this note about anything you want to talk about ever. And then other people that are your friends and are connected to you can comment on it, and other people can see their comments and stuff. And we'll get back to that in a minute. But there's a way you can set up in your notes that you can pull automatically from your RSS feed, which all the blog software platforms automatically have RSS feeds built into them. So you just go there and you take your RSS address. And by the way, I recommend using feedburner.com to manage your RSS feed for your blog or for anything else. So if you go to feedburner.com, it makes it a lot easier to, and you can track stats, how many subscribers, all kinds of good stuff. But once you do that, you take your RSS address, you add it into the notes section to add your blog, and then every time you make a blog post, wham, automatically added into your notes. So if we jump in here real fast, we can see that these are the latest blog posts that I've made. And it's real cool because the really neat thing about it is it keeps all links intact. So when I'm mentioning things, my other sites, my other products for sale, you are getting advertising to the things that you sell when you use Facebook and these other social media sites. I didn't want to imply that you're never going to, be advertising your things for sale. You are. You're going to be getting links and promotion all over. It's just done through the veil of content, because that's really what people want more than just you pitching your stuff for sale. So clearly, TrafficJam.com is a site my company owns. This is an ad for it. I'm talking about it. It essentially becomes an ad or promo for it because people can click right here and go to it. And so you can see these are some of my blog posts, the last few that I posted, and it's just putting it right here into Facebook, which is great. And what's really neat is if you use photos or images in your blog post, like I use this one in a blog post, it pulls it right into Facebook. So if you start using a lot of photos and images like we talked about to create great content, you should almost always try to put some kind of image just because it's more compelling. This is another reason to use images in your blog post, because they can be shown across Facebook. And as you'll see, images and photos and everything else get the most attention and will get you the most activity and ultimately the most traffic. So you'll want to use, that's another reason to use images and photos. When I say images, whether it's clip art or something or an illustration or just a photograph of something in your blog post. But that's how it works with the notes. So you'll want to do that. You just go into notes over here where you're managing all the different components of your profile. So you can move things around. You can take things off. You can move them around in order. So I could say I want my Twitter updates to show down here, and I want the notes to show above it. Now everyone that loads this page, that's the order they see it. I put Twitter higher up because that's more important to me, and I want people to see that there. You can't move friends. It's stable. You can't move the mini feed, but everything below here you can move around and add different things. Some people, you'll see their profile's kind of junky. They're all kinds of blinking stuff and funny little games and things, but to each their own, whatever they want to do. So this is just general information. Great place to advertise your website. I put some of my, again, you can put as little or as much information as you want. This is kind of the fly on the wall thing, and it's a relationship builder. People want to know more about me. So, there's a place when you set up your Facebook account, you can put some of your favorite movies in it, automatically links to some of them and more information about them. It works like tags. Favorite TV shows, what you like to do. And it just is about me, and you can put whatever you want. So I put a lengthy bio about myself just in case anyone finds me on here through one of their friends that doesn't really know much about me, and then I, connect with them and they're able to read this. They can get to know me better. A lot of people go, wow, I didn't know that about you. And some of this stuff I'd actually never gone into detail before. So even just my regular customers didn't know this. So it's just yet another way to build a bond and strengthen a relationship with people. And so, of course, look, link to my main website here, link it to the blog here. You can put lots of links in here and promote your other sites. Just don't overdo it. Make it look, kind of crappy and spammy. It's all about balance. So that's a profile. Under here, I actually have another blog. I'm kind of double dipping here a little bit. I'm actually testing something right now. But I'm using another application that will pull my blog posts automatically into this page. And I like this one a little better because, unlike the notes, it shows more of the blog post than just the first one and the first few lines and then only the titles of the others, like you see. It only shows 3 items. And actually, I forgot, it's not really showing much of a description at all. It just shows the headline links. So this is pulling in the actual part of the story. And actually, let me check something real quick if I make it in the wider area. It's pretty cool how you can just drag and drop things. Let's see if it adjusts the format here. Okay, so I was wrong. It's because of which column you put it in. If you put it in your smaller column, it will only show the titles. If you put it in the larger column, it'll at least give you a paragraph description of the first one. But that's not as good as this blog. Whoops, one below Twitter. It's not as good as this blog app that I have installed because this shows that for a bunch of recent posts. It lets me set how many I want to show, and I currently have it set on 5. And it pulls in images from the post. Look how great that is, how much attention that gets. People are like, oh, what's that? And they'll click here and go read the blog post. So pros and cons to both. Doing it the notes way. I'll explain all that in a minute, how it can be used as a strategy, because that's very important. So down here I have a Flickr plugin. Anytime I add photos to Flickr, they can be automatically added to here. It's just like Twitter. It syndicates the photos. These are some photos of my home that I recently shared that people got a lot out of. Transparency is a big thing. It's becoming more and more important, and it's great for branding and for marketing and for getting to know people. It's no longer as effective to be anonymous, to just be hiding behind a company name and logo and expecting people to give you their money and do business with you. The social web and everything that's happening with our culture and with the internet and where all this is going is making people more accessible, and people are expected to be more accessible. That's why you need to be using Facebook. Many of your customers are going to come to expect to be able to communicate and socialize with you and get to know more about you as an individual, as well as more about your company. And so the more of this that you can do, share photos, talk about your pets, whatever, people like that. Like, they like to get to know the person behind the brand. It's not just about, here's what my company can do for you and these are great our products are. It's more about real people. So that's a Flickr plugin you can add, and so it'll add photos. But I'm going to show you and explain to you why you also want to be uploading photos directly to your Facebook account. And like I mentioned a minute ago, photos get the most attention. As you can see here, that's really attention getting. And for marketing, it's really so, and I'm going to explain that in just a moment. So below here is what's called your wall. People can make posts to it, and you can reply and post on their wall. But everyone that visits the profile sees this. And so it's just a way to get people to find out about you, participating in other people's walls, and somebody can click on that name and go over to their profile. So that's the profile page. Somebody views the John Reese profile here on Facebook, and this is what they see. Links to see what kind of friends I have. See, it's reloaded now. It's showing different friends. That kind of just keeps happening at random. And, there's some plugins. There's like a top friends thing where you can just show your most popular friends or who you're calling your favorites and other things. But there's all kinds of Facebook applications that can add functionality to Facebook itself. And in the Widgets and Software CD, towards the end of this course, I actually talk about how you could look into actually creating a Facebook application for your business, if it makes sense, to generate traffic. Because some of those things can become very viral with a lot of people using your application. Like this Twitter thing here, this is an application that was installed to add more functionality to my profile page. And there are other ones as well. So people can give you little gifts and things. It's just kind of fun. And there's all kinds of stuff that goes on with Facebook. Some of it's kind of junky that I don't like with a lot of the different applications that have been made for Facebook, little games, and you can buy your friends and you can, say how hot you think somebody is. So there's everything about an individual person. Now, this that I'm going to show you next is the other part of Facebook. This is your home page. So when you log into Facebook, this is typically where it takes you. And this tells you and updates you with the activity of your network, of the people you're connected with, and as well as things tied to your account. On the right-hand side here, you see request activity for your account. You can see I have 479 people that have requested me to add them as my friend. And, of course, I can't yet because I hit that 5,000 limit. But that's what that's for. If I click this, it'll go and show me all those friends. All these other requests are these little applications that different people are asking you to install and things. A lot of it you just have to ignore it. But that's kind of a status activity area here of what's been going on with your account. For invitations, these are people inviting me to join different events that they're coordinating online for meetings and things like that. And that's what you see there. These pokes, this is kind of weird. It's kind of part of Facebook culture. You can poke someone and it'll show up and say somebody poked you. It's just kind of a fun way just to say, hey, nudge, nudge, I was thinking of you, and just poked you. It's kind of a weird thing. It doesn't really do anything, so I don't recommend you pay any attention to it, or at least I don't. A status update, you can update, of course, your status like I already showed you on the profile page. And when other people view this page to show the activity of the profile is what's going on with you. The homepage is what's going on with everyone you're connected to in your network. So my stuff is showing in this area as well because this is for my whole network. So you see my status stuff here. But it's also showing the status of other people that are in my network. So if I click this See All, I can see all the latest status changes. It's in the order of what was changed most recently. So it shows, and of course, everything is one click away from going to that person's profile and seeing their profile page. So this just shows all these people have updated their status and what they're up to. And you can put URLs in your status. That's a good marketing strategy. When you say, hey, I just posted a blog post, you can link to it, and people see it if they look at their page and look in the status area. Or if they're looking on your profile and they see in the mini feed, it's one of the entries, hey, you changed your status to this, or that person added this. So this would show any of the events that people in my network are setting up. And by date, tons of, these are the people that set them up. This is whatever the event is. Little online meetings and teleseminars and even real-world workshops. People make notes in events for. It's just like calendaring kind of. So this is keeping up with what people's activities are. Some of it's online, some of it's offline. Facebook's really powerful. A lot of neat things you can do with it. So you can get involved with events and do things. And as you interact with events and sign up for events and do different things, that will show up on other people's home pages and I'm going to get to all that in just a moment, so I don't want to jump too far ahead. So this just shows all kinds of information about my connections, the friends that I'm connected to. So as you can see, photos really stand out. Anytime someone adds photos to their album, shows up here and I see that person's name. And it gives me an opportunity to be one click away from going to their profile or from clicking to check out these photos. This is the event that was set up. So you can create an event name and you can tag your photos and all that kind of stuff. And it's all connected here in Facebook and it all serves a purpose. So it'll tell you who's joined what group, who's changed, their status. This person just, entered that they've entered into a relationship. So just this kind of the pulse of what's going on with your group. And you can adjust the preferences to show you more or less of certain types of certain types of things. Like you say, show me more updates of photos or show me less, so on and so forth. But here's the power of Facebook. It's very, very viral. As you can imagine, there are some interactions, that happen between users that expose them to other users outside of just the two users that are connected. So this homepage here, as they call it, that is my newsfeed of my 5,000 friends and whatever they're doing. That's what shows up on this page. Anytime they do major moves, it's showing up here. So when you're doing things with your Facebook account, other people are going to be notified. Every time you upload a photo, all of your friends are going to see a mini shot of that photo and see links to go check out that photo or that new album. That's very powerful just to, because every time somebody logs into Facebook, this is the page they're exposed to. So if you add photos and you're constantly adding photos to your Facebook album, not just to Flickr, but to your Facebook album, you're constantly going to be in the eye of or exposed to all your normal friends that you're connected to. Now, don't overdo it. I see some people here that clearly know of that technique and are abusing it. I'm not going to name names, but there's a woman in particular that I'm connected to right now with my 5,000 friends. I'm actually debating whether or not to remove her because it gets annoying. And it's like she posts a new photo of herself, or if you join a group and post photos to a group, that will also show the photo in this news feed on all your friends' accounts. And so it was literally every single day I was logging in, there are her photos again that she added to some other group, and she joined like hundreds of groups. And it just becomes spammy. Like after a while, you're just like, okay, you're getting some good exposure, but enough is enough. You're going overboard with this. So be careful about using any of these techniques, or you can abuse it and upset people, and again hurt your reputation. Or it won't be effective when especially if people block you. Then it has no effect. So when you do things within Facebook, it gets updated on other people's news feeds. So upload a photo, it'll show it. Upload a video, it'll show the thumbnail and let people click to watch a video. Adding videos is a great way to reach a lot of people. I haven't started doing it too much yet because I've only really started using Facebook heavily in the last few months. I actually had consulted with someone else that was using it for the real estate market, and I never really used it for myself, so I didn't get too involved in it, and we had a different strategy. We're using kind of some different techniques at the time anyways. But now that I've been using it a lot lately, I see all the things, and as it evolves, that's why you'll want to check the resources section and keep up with that as we learn new techniques, because this stuff is going to evolve on a weekly basis. There'll be new techniques all the time for generating traffic and for marketing purposes on sites like this. So things change all the time. But I notice if you add a photo, it gets a lot of traction because it shows on this page for all your friends. If you add a video, same thing. And so it's the same thing when you join groups, which I'll show you in a minute, which are kind of sub-social networks, and you participate in those and enter into discussions. So like anytime you make a comment or you're posting on someone's wall or you're doing all these different things, all that gets updated in different places. And a lot of that happens on these news feeds. So it shows shows on, I should say, the homepage of all your friends. So adding media, photos and videos ends up getting thumbnails on here and getting a lot of attention to drive people back to your profile and, of course, exposing them yet again to anything that you're up to. But the other thing that's really powerful about this is when you comment on things. If someone comments on one of your photos or someone comments on one of your notes, here's the powerful thing about that. In most cases, it's different for some of the uses of it, but for most cases of the commenting, not only does it show up on like your feed of activity of showing what's going on, of, you know, what just the general activity that's in your little network and also showing what you're doing, but it'll expose the fact that someone commented on something of yours to their entire network, because they'll see it in that like feed area of the profile. And so if you have someone that has 500 or 1,000 or even 5,000 friends as well that ever interacts with things on your profile page and your things within Facebook, it updates in their activity list and exposes, you know, if they had 1,000 friends, all 1,000 friends that then go to the profile will see it. And, for example, see that Ann Smith made a comment on a photo or made a comment on a note of John Reese's. And so people will be like, oh, who's John Reese? Why is my friend Ann Smith commenting on that? And so they'll click over, and if, you know, there's any kind of related interest in that topic or whatever it is, they may ask to become friends. And so that's the viral nature of Facebook. It gets scary at some points of how viral you can get your name and your photos and anything you're doing out there across Facebook and build a huge following. So just getting involved, you know, posting notes, pulling in your blog posts, commenting on other people's walls, on their photos, on their notes, in the discussions and groups, all that stuff. Just get your name all over the place. A few things about etiquette. When you ask someone to be your friend, there's an area there where you can add an additional note. You always should add a note. So when they see your request, they also see the note. Let me show you that real quick. I'll just jump to my friend request page. And you'll see some of my requests. Actually, I'm going to stop this because now I think about it, it's kind of a privacy thing. Maybe some people are... Because you're sending someone like a little private message with the request, and sometimes it's personal, and I don't want to actually expose someone's personal message to me. Now that I think about it, so it's not a good idea. But when you send a friend request, you can send a note with it if you want or not at all, and you always should. Just say, hey, I would like to, it'd be great to connect with you and you to become my friend because, and say why. So if you're joining groups, I'm going to show you what those are, or if you're interacting with people and they're not your friend yet and you want to add them as your friend on Facebook, tell them why. Say, hey, I see you're also in such and such group. You know, I thought we could, you know, connect as friends and so on and so forth. So just put a reason. So when you go to groups, and again, you can poke around here on your own and figure things out about all the different functionality. But if you go to groups, type in a subject like for your market. Whoops. So I'll do gardening. You just push enter there. It's kind of weird how they didn't have a submit button. I think it's bad design they need to fix, because if you click that other thing, it actually starts a group if you want to start one. So these are all different groups for our gardening example, all different. It's like Ning, kind of like little sub-networks that you'll see when we get to Ning and talk about Ning. The groups within Facebook as the main social network. So this one, Organic Gardening 101, has 2,600 members. And these are little updates about what's going on, how many new members it's probably had since you last checked it or last were exposed to it. So if we visit it, it's very much like an individual. Like a group has a profile page too, just like an individual. A group can have its own photos. It can have its own videos. It can have its own events. It can have its own blog. It can have its own information. One of the differences in groups, it can have a discussion board, so people can post and talk about different things. So here are all the different topics and different people talking about things. And people can, of course, become a member of it. So you attach yourself to a group. And so it's like you're now part of a mini sub-network. And then, of course, the group has its own wall that you can comment on, just like a person's profile page. This looks like some sort of spam here. That's why you got to be careful. You don't want to post. You really don't want to ever plug your sites when you post on Facebook. Like if you make a comment, you get a discussion, you don't want to post your site. if you make a comment to something where you recently wrote a blog post, you could say, hey, great post. I recently just wrote something about this very subject, and then put in your link. That's okay. But don't just say, hey, great post, and then all of a sudden it's a URL to your online store. That's just that's spammy. That's not how you take advantage of this stuff. But anyway, so groups are like friend profile pages, but for a group of people. And so when you post a photo to this group, it's going to show across all your normal friends, not that group related, all your normal friends' home pages of what are going on with your friends. It'll say, if I posted a picture of this, it would say, John just posted this photo, and it'll show the thumbnail to the Organic Gardening 101 group. So as you interact with groups, you reach more and more people virally with what you're doing. Because as you post things to groups, the other group members start being exposed to it as well, even if they're not your friend. So there's a lot of viral implications to Facebook. There's a lot to it. The best thing for you to do is just to get your feet wet if you haven't already used it. Poke around a little bit with it, and you'll just see for yourself how it works. It's not that complicated, and you'll start to learn some of these little methods and tricks for getting your name out there more and more, building up your own friends and everything else. Now, one more thing I want to show you is on Facebook, you can set up kind of like a secondary account called a fan page. And you can do this for any of your products, for you personally, and for anything you want to do like business related. And so I set up a fan page. I pretty much now the fan pages aren't limited to the number of fans. So this is like a group. People can be associated with it. They don't have to request it like being a friend. You don't have to get permission and have someone say, okay, I'll accept you as a friend. Anyone can become a fan of this page, and they're instantly a fan. And so it has its pros and cons. And the reason why I set it up pretty much is because I couldn't take any more than the 5,000 friends, and so I wanted some spillover. It kind of acts as double duty. I can, of course, post different things about, pull in my blog post, syndicate my other things from here, on the fan page itself. But the only downfall I'm finding is the fan pages that you're allowed to actually encourage to use for business, by the way, aren't really as effective as the true friend connection. That friend connection is more powerful. When you do things, people are seeing more things about you, and you can get your things exposed to their friends. The fan page has limitations in that regard, and it's more work to keep up both, to be adding things to your regular profile main account, as well as being social and keeping up with the fan page thing. And frankly, to be honest, I find it kind of silly that I have a fan page. Like, I'm just a normal person, and it's just kind of lame in my mind, like that, hey, be my fans. It's just, it's not like I'm a rock star or something. So it's just for business, it's kind of weird. It's just my personal thing. Some people like it. I think people understand that the fan page it's not just, people idolizing someone like Mick Jagger or something, and it does have its purpose for business. But it doesn't have the functionality that the main account has. And so if Facebook would lift the 5,000 friend limit, I'll probably delete this maybe, or just really not do much with it, and put my main focus in just the friend account, my main social account, because again, that reaches far and wide and has greater implications virally, and it's just, there's more stuff you can do with it and have a better relationship with the folks that are connected to you than the relationship I can have with fans, like on this type of thing. So that's pretty much Facebook in a nutshell. The kind of core strategies that you want to use is you want to connect the notes section. Go under notes here. You'll want to connect your blog to your notes. So down here on the right side, you can do edit import settings, and it'll ask you to put in your feed. This is the current RSS feed that I have for ourincome.com blog. So that's this. That's why it's pulling in the blog post to the profile page automatically under that notes section. Now, the downfall of this is apparently how it appears to be set up is that you can't import multiple blogs if you have more than one blog, and that's a downfall. You could do it with I think, with that other blog application I'm currently testing, or I guess you could always just go find a different blog application, and they're not going to know which blog you're kind of putting in there. But that's Notes. So you can see it pulls friends' notes as well. But that's how you pull in your blog posts, so they're shown right here. And you can add other notes, just about anything. Like I just added this today, reminding people, hey, Twitter's really blowing up. Make sure to go join Twitter now and also to follow me. So I link to my Twitter thing. So, see, I'm promoting, I'm actively marketing, but I'm not plugging something for sale. I'm just saying, hey, connect with me over here. And that's just the way you do it. That's the etiquette. One of the sneaky tricks you can kind of do with notes is if you add a comment to your own note. See, when I add this note, as far as I checked last, it doesn't update on all my friends' homepages saying, John created a note where other people's friends will be exposed to it, like in their mini feed and everything. But I believe if you add a comment to your own entry, it will be exposed to not only all your friends, but also their friends as well through some of their feeds, if I'm not mistaken. This stuff changes all the time. But it can be very powerful to comment on your own, but do it sparingly, of course, and don't be spammy and abusive. But you can invite people, hey, I just posted a note, comment on it, tell me what you think. And every time someone comments on it, all their friends will definitely get exposed to their activity, and it'll say, Susan Smith recently commented on this note from John Reese, and that, again, can drive people over to it and to you. So that's first and foremost, you want to pull in your blog post to your notes. If you have Twitter, which I hope you'll set up and start using, you can use the Twitter application. The way you get to that is you come under Applications here. You click what do you click here? You click Edit, and then it'll allow you to search for applications, and then you can just type Twitter, and you'll find the Twitter one, and then just look at the different settings, and you click Install, and then it'll have you put in your username and password for your login for Twitter, and then it'll do its thing. And you can come on here and push things around in whatever kind of order you want. I think you should put Twitter on top, and then have your syndicated notes under it over here on the left, and then on the right-hand side, profile. I'm using this Flog blog. I would use it for now, unless you see me not doing it or see an update in the resources section or posted in our community of something better. But then, I like this, even though I'm kind of double dipping, again, showing my blog posts under the notes, or at least links to them, and then showing over here. I like this. I like people being able to scan this. It's like a mini version of my blog. You may want to think about setting up a Flickr account. If you upload photos, you'll also want to upload them to Facebook. I haven't had a chance to do that, but if I do that, add these photos as well manually, it's going to show up across all the different homepage feeds of everyone's friend, network activity that's connected to me, and they'll see that, and it's just more advertising. It promotes my stuff and my profile and drives people over here. So, of course, this is my wall, and people, just making comments about different things and saying different comments, and I can reply and post back. And you just want to get involved. You don't have to spend a lot of time on this stuff, but just spend, half hour a week just to come in here and make some comments. Post some comments, post some notes. I guess I said comments twice there, but post notes, do some different things, participate, and then just go about your week. Even spend 5 minutes a day, even 10 minutes a day. But just get involved, post on people's walls, add comments to notes, create notes, join groups, post photos to groups. Just as you do things, everyone else will notice because it updates these little news feeds, and you'll just reach more and more people. And if you're doing good things with value, remember what's in it for them. It's not just for their health. They want to see you just always posting pictures of your cat. It's got to be about your business and why people would be interested in connecting with you in the first place. So if you post good content, good value, you're posting links of things you're checking out and looking at, it's just gonna come back to you tenfold and really benefit you and your business. So that's a crash course on Facebook. Of course, check the resources section as well as the private protected area in our community for you for this course that you have a license to, and I'm sure people will be talking about other things they've tried in Facebook and new things, and you'll be able to keep up with that as well. So that's Facebook for you.